If your blessing hasn't arrived yet, stay with me until the end. Saint Anthony is ready to surprise you with a grace that will shake your soul. This is not just another prayer, it's a cry of the heart for those who are tired, broken, and desperate for a sign. If you're overwhelmed by debts, facing a broken family, or carrying an illness that doctors can't explain, this moment was made for you. The time has come to stop running and start receiving. Breathe. This is the moment when your miracle begins. The one you've been waiting for, praying for, crying for, is already being written in heaven. And by the end of this prayer, you may see an answer you never expected. Come close and pray with me. Let Saint Anthony, the Saint of Miracles, hear your heart today, because this is more than a ritual. It's a sacred encounter. Whether you need healing, financial advancement, or a restoration of family relationships, you're not alone anymore. Let this be the day when the doors begin to open. Let this be the hour that everything starts to shift. You're not forgotten, you're not too late, you're not too broken. You are standing at the threshold of a very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, one that has changed lives around the world. Repeat with me now in faith. Saint Anthony, work my miracle today. Go ahead and write it in the comments so that heaven may echo your cry. Saint Anthony, I come to you today not just with words, but with a soul aching for change. I have tried everything in my strength, and yet the burden remains. You, who are known for your compassion and for being the Saint of Miracles, I ask you now, open the heavens over my life. Intercede for me in this desperate case, for I believe in your power to reach the unreachable. Let this prayer be the key that unlocks a long-awaited blessing, not in months, but in days, perhaps even hours. Because when we believe, even the impossible requests are answered. You who once held the child Jesus in your arms, now hold my heart in yours. Speak on my behalf to our merciful Father. Ask that the chains of scarcity be broken, that the doors of financial advancement be opened, and that peace be poured over my home. If it is a healing I need, let your touch bring renewal to my body and soul. If it is a broken relationship, let this be the beginning of family restoration. And if what I face seems impossible, remind me that with God nothing is. I will not give up. I will not stop praying, because I know that you, dear Saint Anthony, have never turned away someone in true need. This prayer is not an empty tradition. It is the lifeline of my faith. So I stay here, clinging to the hope that you are already acting in the invisible, rearranging the impossible, and preparing an urgent miracle that will exceed everything I imagined. I believe that something powerful is about to happen, and I will not leave until it does. Before we move forward, say from your heart, Saint Anthony, I trust you with my life. Grant me the miracle I need. When the miracle begins to stir in the invisible, there are moments in life when everything feels like it's closing in. The walls get tighter, the answers vanish, and silence becomes louder than ever. It's in these moments that heaven starts working, in secret, in silence, in ways you can't yet see. That's where the miracle begins, in the stillness, in the waiting. When your prayer seems unanswered, that's often the very moment it's taking root. Saint Anthony, the gentle and faithful intercessor, is not deaf to your cries. He moves with compassion for the brokenhearted and acts with power on behalf of those who trust. When you pray with faith, even if your voice trembles, he hears the truth of your soul. And if your request is for an urgent miracle, know this: you're not asking in vain. Your words are already echoing in the courts of heaven. How many times have you whispered your pain into the darkness, hoping someone was listening? And how many nights have you laid awake wondering if God still sees you? Saint Anthony, through his mighty intercession, brings you an answer. Yes, he sees, he hears, he cares. And this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony may be the turning point you've longed for. Sometimes the miracle doesn't come wrapped in lightning. It starts small, in your chest, in your courage, in your next breath. When your soul begins to believe again, healing starts to bloom. When your heart softens toward forgiveness, family restoration begins. And when you take a step, even with shaking legs, toward hope, financial emergency starts to shift. Faith is not a feeling. It's a decision to trust when everything says otherwise. And you today have chosen to believe. That alone opens doors no man can shut. Prayer to St. Anthony is not a magic formula. It's a connection, a divine alignment. When your heart connects to his, miracles don't just visit, they move in. People all over the world call on St. Anthony not only for finding lost things, but for finding themselves, for rediscovering peace, restoring homes, and recovering what was once buried by pain. And he shows up, not because we deserve it, but because God delights in mercy, and St. Anthony is a vessel of that mercy. Maybe your heart has been hardened by disappointment. You've prayed before and nothing changed, or so you thought. But what if the delay was never a denial? What if the wait was God preparing you for something bigger? This is not just another miraculous prayer to St. Anthony. This is your invitation to see things differently. There are people who once stood exactly where you are, afraid, broken, unsure. They too thought their situation was beyond help. And then something shifted. A prayer was whispered, a door opened, a diagnosis reversed, a debt cancelled, a marriage restored. An opportunity appeared. It wasn't luck, it was a miraculous prayer today, just like this. The enemy wants you to believe that your situation is final. But St. Anthony reminds you, there's no such thing as too late when you pray with faith. What man calls impossible, heaven calls simple. That's the essence of an impossible prayer that works. It doesn't need logic, it needs surrender. If your heart is crying for a restoration of homes, for children to return, for love to heal, then say it out loud. Don't be ashamed of your pain. It's the raw material for transformation. St. Anthony is not overwhelmed by your needs. He welcomes them, carries them, and presents them before the Lord. In times of financial emergency, it's easy to feel ashamed, to shrink in silence. But heaven does not judge the depth of your wallet, only the depth of your trust. Today, bring your bills, your empty account, your fears, all of it. Lay it before this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles and watch what happens. If your body aches and your soul is weary, whisper to heaven, I believe. Healing begins in the hidden places. When your belief is greater than your fear, miracles begin to unfold. And through the intercession of St. Anthony, so many have seen illnesses disappear and strength return. Don't compare your journey with others. Their timing is not yours. Their miracle is not your measure. Your blessing is uniquely designed, and it is coming. That's why you must stay in this prayer until the end. Don't interrupt what God is writing through the intercession of Saint Anthony of Miracles. Even now, something is shifting. A lightness is coming into your chest, a calmness in your thoughts. That's not coincidence, it's evidence. Faith is rising, heaven is near, the Holy Spirit is whispering, keep going. Your urgent help is not far, it is already in motion. So many have seen debts cancelled, jobs restored, relationships healed, and diseases reversed. Not because of luck, but because of trust. Because they stayed, because they believed, because they prayed this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony with a heart ready to receive. You've been chosen for a turnaround. This is not punishment, it's preparation for something greater, something beautiful, something unexpected. And if your faith can hold on just a little longer, you'll see the doors fly open. Let your enemies see you rise. Let your past see you walk in freedom. Let your circumstances bow before the authority of prayer. This prayer that works instantly is not based on how strong you are, but on how willing you are to let go and believe. Even the smallest seed of faith can move mountains. Even the tiniest flicker of hope can light up an entire season of darkness. So, plant that seed now. Speak it. I believe in the power of Saint Anthony of Miracles. Say it when you wake up. Say it when you're afraid. Say it when the bills come in or the doctor calls. Let this phrase be your anchor. This is my time. This is my miracle. And Saint Anthony is walking with me, because what you're about to receive will be too great to keep to yourself. Others will look at your life and say, that was God. And it all starts here, with this prayer, with this moment, with this leap of faith. Don't let fear silence your voice. Don't let the past dictate your future. Don't let the enemy convince you that nothing will change. Something is changing right now, even if you can't see it yet. The roots are forming underground. Saint Anthony isn't just known for finding lost things. He's known for restoring what's broken, replacing what was stolen, and reviving what looked dead. And that's exactly what's beginning in your life, at this very moment. Open your hands, lift your heart, release the burden, receive the promise. This is not just a spiritual exercise, it's a divine appointment, and you were meant to be here. So breathe deeply. You're not alone, not forgotten, not abandoned. You are loved, seen, and heard by heaven. And through Saint Anthony, the doors are opening even now. If your heart feels moved, write this in the comments. Saint Anthony, I believe my miracle has already begun. Or the hour when heaven listens closely. There's something powerful about a soul that refuses to give up. When everything says no, but you still whisper, yes, I believe. You shake the heavens. Saint Anthony stands beside those who won't quit, those who cry through their prayers, who kneel even when their knees are bruised. This is the sacred hour where miracles begin to accelerate. You may not feel strong, you may not feel worthy, but strength was never the requirement. Faith is. And the very fact that you're here breathing this prayer means your spirit is stronger than your fear. This is a very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, and your presence in it is not by accident. It's by divine design. Right now, in the silence of your pain, something is moving. It may feel small, but it's real. Heaven does not ignore sincere tears. Your cry has reached the heart of God through the intercession of Saint Anthony, who knows what it means to suffer, to hope, to believe. You are not praying alone. When you face a financial emergency, fear becomes your closest companion. It can paralyze your decisions, your joy, and your peace. But this is not the life God designed for you. He created you to walk in dignity, not despair. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is a declaration that lack is not your destiny. If you've been praying for your home, for unity, for peace, for the return of someone you love, believe that this restoration of family relationships has already begun. Saint Anthony, who brings back the lost, who reunites hearts, who mends what has been torn apart, is listening to you now. There are battles you've fought in silence, struggles no one sees, decisions you've had to make without guidance or strength. But even in those moments, you were never truly alone. This prayer is the voice of your soul saying, "Enough, I choose to rise. I choose to believe." And belief is a key. Some people receive miracles because they ask boldly, others because they endure silently. But you're here for both. You've prayed with boldness and now you've waited with patience. This is the turning point. Let your heart remain open. Don't close it before the blessing arrives. Think of all that's already been restored, moments where the impossible was reversed, where desperate cases suddenly changed. The same God, the same saint is still working today. You are not the exception. You are the next testimony. There is no shame in asking again. There is no weakness in repetition. Every Lord, please that you whisper builds a bridge from earth to heaven. And when Saint Anthony carries your prayer across that bridge, heaven responds. Not always how we expect, but always with love. If today you're facing legal trouble, a diagnosis, or a door slammed shut, do not panic. Saint Anthony is the friend of those in crisis. His compassion has no limits, and his influence before God is mighty. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, you are now surrounded by divine protection. Do not mistake delay for denial. God is not punishing you. He's preparing something greater. When impossible requests come before heaven, they require a sacred setup. Your prayer is being answered behind the scenes, in perfect order and perfect timing. Sometimes your healing won't start in your body. It starts in your spirit. When bitterness breaks, when forgiveness flows, when you begin to hope again, that's when your health aligns with heaven. Let your heart be cleansed in this moment. Let love rise where fear once ruled. Maybe you've lost something more than material. Maybe it was a dream, a sense of purpose, a version of yourself. But Saint Anthony, known for finding lost things, is also known for helping people find their way back to joy, back to clarity, back to God. There is a reason this prayer found you. Maybe it came through a friend. Maybe you stumbled upon it by chance. But nothing is random when it comes to miraculous prayer today. Every step led you here, to this holy conversation, to this sacred turning point. There is still time. No matter how late the hour, no matter how dark the night. With Saint Anthony of Miracles, dawn is always possible. Do not count yourself out. Do not write the final chapter just yet. Your miracle may be one act of faith away. If you're praying for others, your children, your spouse, a friend, know that those prayers are just as powerful. There's no distance in the spirit. Saint Anthony can reach them wherever they are and wrap them in mercy. Your love is planting seeds they will harvest in due time. This prayer that works instantly may seem simple, but don't underestimate its power. It's wrapped in centuries of devotion and backed by countless testimonies of change. Your life is about to be one of those testimonies. Hold on. Let go of the idea that you must figure it all out. Miracles are not earned by logic. They are received by surrender. Whisper this now. Saint Anthony, take control. I let go, I believe. And feel your soul exhale. There is provision already assigned to your name. There is healing already flowing into your bloodstream. There is reconciliation already on its way. Saint Anthony is interceding. Don't interrupt the process. Stay with the prayer. It's already working. Today may be ordinary, but what happens in your spirit is anything but. The moment you said yes to this prayer, heaven took notice. Saint Anthony, the humble servant of God, stood up for you. And that changes everything. Every candle lit in faith, every tear shed in silence, every whispered plea. It's all seen. It's all heard. None of it is wasted. Not when you pray under the protection of this infallible prayer to Saint Anthony. Even if you've made mistakes, wandered far, or doubted many times, this is your return. This is your fresh start. Miracles love broken places because they can be rebuilt stronger than before. Let St. Anthony be your guide home. There is no fear in love. And where love grows, fear dies. You are loved beyond measure. Urgent help is already in movement. The answer may surprise you, but when it comes, it will come with clarity, peace, and a new beginning. If your heart feels lighter now, whisper this truth with me. St. Anthony, I believe the miracle is already on its way. The power behind a faith that doesn't let go. Faith is not about never doubting. It's about holding on, even when you do. St. Anthony understands the struggle between fear and belief. That's why his intercession is so powerful. He stands in the gap when we're too weak to stand ourselves. In this very powerful prayer to St. Anthony, you are not alone in your battle. There are days you may feel like you have no more strength to pray. Days when the weight of the problem steals your voice. And that's when the intercession of St. Anthony becomes your lifeline. He speaks the words you can't. He lifts what you cannot. He becomes the bridge between you and the throne of grace. Miracles often begin when we surrender the illusion of control. We say, God, I don't know how, but I believe you will. This is the essence of every prayer to St. Anthony, not to force an outcome, but to trust in one. You're not praying for magic, you're praying for mercy, and mercy always answers. If you feel like your case is too complex, too late, too broken, let that be the reason you stay in this prayer, because desperate cases are his specialty. He is not overwhelmed by your needs, he is moved by them. That's why they call him the Saint of Miracles. There's something holy about persistence, about asking again, knocking again, hoping again. Even after disappointment, heaven honors the heart that returns with trust. And St. Anthony carries that trust directly into the hands of the Father, like a precious offering. When the door closes, don't walk away, kneel. Don't curse the silence, listen deeper. Sometimes God is shifting things you cannot see to deliver something better than you asked for. Through this miraculous prayer to St. Anthony, what seemed like rejection may become redirection. You've cried over things that didn't work out. You've begged for healing that didn't come as quickly as you hoped. But remember this, healing happens in layers. And even when you can't see the change yet, it may already be unfolding in ways your spirit will soon recognize. When your faith is tired, borrow strength from these words. Let this moment renew you. Let the ancient power of prayer rise up within you again. You are surrounded by divine attention. You are wrapped in mercy. You are protected by the shield of this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles. St. Anthony is not a legend. He's a living witness of heaven's kindness. His miracles aren't just stories. They're testimonies that continue today. In hearts like yours, homes like yours, situations like yours, you are next in line. If you're praying for family restoration, speak their names, say them aloud, invite heaven into your home. Let St. Anthony carry your cry like a father cradling his child. There is no greater miracle than a family restored by love and held together by grace. Do not fear what others say is impossible. Remember, they do not know the power of prayer. They do not know the compassion of St. Anthony of Miracles. When he intercedes, the laws of man bow to the will of God, and what was once closed opens. Impossible requests are simply opportunities for God to show you who he really is. Bigger than deadlines, stronger than illness, richer than scarcity, closer than fear. When you say, "Help me, St. Anthony," heaven leans in to listen. Think of those who came before you, who prayed like this in desperation and walked away rejoicing. They saw the same walls, faced the same storms, but they left with peace, because this prayer planted something in them, something unshakable. Sometimes the greatest miracle isn't in what changes outside of us, but what awakens within us. Courage, gratitude, forgiveness. And once those take root, the rest begins to align. That's the gift of intercession, transformation from the inside out. If your fear whispers, "This won't work," let your faith shout louder, "Yes, it will." If doubt knocks on your door, don't answer. Let Saint Anthony open it and fill that space with light. This is the power of an infallible prayer to Saint Anthony. You are not just praying for relief, you are praying for renewal, for restoration, for the kind of change that echoes through generations. That's why you must hold on. This prayer that works instantly touches things beyond what eyes can see. And it's already working now. Saint Anthony doesn't just return what's lost. He restores what was damaged. He brings back dignity, joy, clarity. So if you've lost your way, your voice, your peace, it's not too late. Your restoration begins with this breath, this moment, this prayer. Even if you're struggling financially, don't shrink in shame. Heaven honors humility. Lay your needs before God with boldness. Financial advancement is not a selfish prayer, it's a request for stability, stewardship, and freedom. And God is not offended by your honest need. You've tried many things, maybe even sought help in places that left you more confused. But today you are here, in this holy space, in this sacred prayer. And Saint Anthony, the protector of the poor and forgotten, is standing guard over your soul. Remember this, every time you return to this prayer, you return to hope. You return to possibility. You return to the arms of God, who never turns away the brokenhearted. Through the intercession of Saint Anthony, those arms are wide open for you. So keep praying, keep believing. Don't be discouraged by time or silence. A seed planted in faith does not grow overnight, but when it blooms, it bears fruit beyond measure. Your miraculous prayer today is watering that seed. Keep going. You may feel unworthy, but grace is never about worthiness. It's about love. And love chooses you again and again. In this moment, choose to believe in that love. Choose to accept the miracle you've been praying for. Breathe. Let the weight fall off your shoulders. This prayer is your rest stop, your revival, your reminder that heaven is still invested in you. Say it from your soul. Saint Anthony, I surrender my fears and trust in your intercession. Say it with faith. Write it in the comments. Let your voice join thousands who believe in the power of this prayer. Saint Anthony, I trust you completely. Do what I cannot. Show me the miracle. When the soul finally surrenders, there comes a moment when trying isn't enough, when the weight becomes too much, and the soul knows that the only way forward is through surrender. That's the moment when true miracles begin, not by force, but by trust. Saint Anthony, the one who carried so many broken souls to God, is ready to carry yours too. You've fought, you've waited, you've hoped, and now it's time to rest in Him. This isn't giving up, it's giving in to the grace, to the mercy, to the love that's already chasing after you. That's why this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is not just a cry for help. It's a vow of trust. When you surrender, you allow heaven to act freely. You stop wrestling and start receiving. This is where faith matures. It stops asking when and starts whispering, I trust you anyway. And that's where miracles take shape, in the hidden corners of a surrendered heart. Your need may be urgent, a financial emergency, a shattered family, a failing body. And yes, those things matter. But above the surface is something greater, the state of your soul. That's what God is healing first. That's what Saint Anthony is helping you restore now. If you've ever wondered, is my prayer even heard? The answer is yes. Every word, every sigh, every tear has been gathered. None were ignored. The silence wasn't absence, it was preparation. And today, through this prayer to Saint Anthony, the silence is breaking. To surrender doesn't mean to stop praying. It means to stop fearing. It means you begin to live as though the answer is already on the way, because in the spiritual realm, it is. Saint Anthony has already placed your request before God's throne. You may feel small, weak, disoriented, but it's not about how strong you are. It's about how deep your surrender is. Miracles don't require perfection. They require positioning. And when you pray with this kind of abandonment, healing flows like never before. Let go of the need to understand it all. Sometimes God delivers us not through explanation, but through experience. Trust that even in this mystery, there is movement, and Saint Anthony, the master of the impossible, is guiding the way. There are things you've carried for too long: guilt, regret, fear. You weren't meant to carry that alone. Lay it down here. This infallible prayer to Saint Anthony is your place of release. Open your hands. Let go. Open your heart. Receive. If you've been holding anger, even toward God, say it. He can handle it, he already knows. But he wants your honesty, your rawness. That's where the true relationship begins. That's how family restoration starts, with truth. Maybe your family is fractured beyond recognition. Maybe trust has been broken. Words have wounded, distance has widened, but grace rebuilds what pride destroys. And Saint Anthony delights in reuniting what the enemy tried to divide. Today, choose to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Because your soul can't heal while carrying poison. Speak their names, bless them, release them. This is the doorway to miracles you didn't even know you needed. The same goes for yourself. Stop punishing your heart for the past. You can't be both the prisoner and the judge. Let yourself off the hook. Saint Anthony does. Heaven does. It's time to be free. This is what surrender sounds like. God, even if nothing changes today, I still trust you. And that's when things begin to change, because that kind of trust cannot go unnoticed. This prayer that works instantly starts with acceptance. You were never meant to save yourself. That's why intercession exists. That's why Saint Anthony was given to the world, to lift the weary, to find the lost, to guide the desperate back into the arms of mercy. Let that include you. Let yourself be the one who finally receives, who finally believes that this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony was written with you in mind. Let yourself be loved again. Have you ever thought about what God sees when he looks at you? Not your flaws, not your failures, but a soul he created, a heart he desires, a life he wants to bless. And Saint Anthony reminds you of that truth today. So breathe, cry, fall to your knees, lift your hands. This is your altar. This is holy ground, because any place where surrender happens becomes sacred. And through this sacred moment, impossible requests begin to shift. God is not waiting for your perfection. He's waiting for your honesty. Just say, Lord, I'm tired. Take it, fix it, heal it. And through Saint Anthony, heaven leans down with compassion, not to scold, but to hold. Maybe your battle is financial, and you've hidden it well, but now it's breaking you. The stress, the shame, the fear of not providing. Today, let that weight fall. Ask boldly for a financial advancement, not out of greed, but out of survival, out of hope, out of faith. If you've been walking in circles, confused, overwhelmed, unsure, ask for direction. Saint Anthony is not just the finder of lost things. He's the guide for lost hearts. He's the protector of the confused, the shield for the weary. You don't have to have the right words, just a willing heart. Let the Holy Spirit pray through your sighs. Let Saint Anthony turn them into sacred pleas. Miracles don't wait for polished prayers. They move when faith dares to whisper. Even if today seems the same, something has changed. Something shifted when you said yes to this prayer. When you surrendered, you opened the gates of heaven, and nothing will be the same again. You are not abandoned, not forgotten, not too late. This miraculous prayer today is your confirmation. Your life is not finished. It's being rewritten with grace. And Saint Anthony is one of the scribes. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine it. Peace, health, provision, unity, joy. Not as distant dreams, but present realities. This is what happens when the soul lets go and lets God. It's not too good to be true. It's grace. This is your moment, not tomorrow. Not when things are perfect. Now, right here, in this breath, in this surrender. Say it now. Saint Anthony, I give it all to you. Lead me into the miracle I can no longer chase on my own. Say it with your heart. Whisper it with faith. And if you believe, write it in the comments. Saint Anthony, I surrender everything and trust your holy guidance. When faith becomes certainty and the miracle is near, there is a sacred moment when faith stops being hope and becomes certainty. That moment is now. You've surrendered, you've waited, and now you're called to trust. Not just a little, fully. This is the final stretch before the miracle appears. Breathe it in. You are almost there. Saint Anthony, faithful servant of the Most High, walks beside those who wait with courage. When everything around them screams defeat, they whisper victory because they've seen it before. They've felt the hand of God, and they know He's never late. You're about to witness the same. If your eyes could see the spiritual realm, you'd weep with joy. Angels dispatched, paths opening, chains falling, all because of this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony. You didn't just recite words. You activated heaven's machinery. Confidence in prayer doesn't mean ignoring fear. It means declaring that fear won't have the last word. It's looking at an empty account and saying, financial advancement is coming. It's staring at a broken home and declaring, family restoration is possible. This is what bold faith looks like. You are not pretending things aren't hard. You're choosing to believe they won't stay this way. That is holy defiance. That is spiritual maturity. That is the kind of heart Saint Anthony rushes to defend. You've been tested, refined, pressed on every side. But what if the pressing wasn't punishment, but preparation? What if this pressure was making you stronger, purer, more ready for the miracle God has reserved just for you? Many people want instant results, but God works in perfect timing. And sometimes that time is now. Your prayers, your tears, your praise, all have been collected. Heaven remembers. And Saint Anthony, the saint of miracles, has not stopped interceding. It's not about feeling worthy. None of us are. It's about knowing that God answers not because we are good, but because He is. And in His mercy, He gives us saints like Anthony, who bring our broken requests and turn them into divine appointments. Look around, feel the shift. The wind of change is blowing through your soul. This miraculous prayer today has done something. It's awakened courage, stirred expectancy, and soon you will walk in what you've prayed for. Do not be surprised when doors open without warning, when calls come unexpectedly, when healing starts to accelerate. This is the nature of the prayer that works instantly. It doesn't ask permission to bless you. It just does. Even in the silence, something has been building. Your impossible requests have been heard, not ignored, not dismissed, but prioritized, processed through grace. St. Anthony knows how to wait and how to move when the time is right. Look back and remember how far you've come. You've made it through things you thought would break you, and that same strength is carrying you now. The prayers you whispered through tears were not in vain. They were planting seeds. Faith is not about knowing how, it's about knowing who. And you know, deep in your spirit, you know that St. Anthony is moving on your behalf, that something is about to unfold, that the story is not over yet. Speak this over yourself. I am not too late, I'm not forgotten, I am ready. Let these words replace doubt. Let them become your anthem. You are walking in alignment with heaven, and miracles follow alignment. Maybe you're still waiting to find something lost. A job, a loved one, yourself. But nothing is truly lost when St. Anthony is involved. He sees what others overlook. He retrieves what others abandon. Trust him to restore it. Even now, as you finish this prayer, your faith is unlocking things that have been held back for years. Generational chains are breaking, blessings are being released. Peace is flowing like a river. This is the power of a prayer to St. Anthony. And if others doubt your breakthrough, let them watch. Let your testimony speak louder than your explanation. Let your life be the proof that miracles are real, because they are. And one is about to carry your name. Your faith is a magnet. It attracts the divine. It repels fear. It restores hope. St. Anthony of Miracles stands beside you, and when he stands with you, nothing can stand against you. Feel the peace settling over you. The kind that makes no sense but changes everything. That's divine assurance. That's the fruit of surrender. That's the gift of praying an infallible prayer to St. Anthony with a heart wide open. From this moment on, walk like it's done. Pray like it's answered. Love like you've been healed. Because you have. In the spiritual realm, the miracle is already yours, and soon it will be seen in the natural too. Let the pain of yesterday fade into gratitude. Let the fear of tomorrow turn into hope. Today is holy. This moment is sacred, and the promise is real. If your body is weary, let rest come. If your thoughts are racing, let peace speak louder. Healing is not just physical, it's emotional, spiritual, financial, and it's here now, ready to settle in your life. You don't need 1,000 confirmations. This is it. This is your sign. This is your open door. God is with you. St. Anthony is interceding, and your heart is ready. When you wake up tomorrow, expect good news. When you go about your day, expect favor, because you have chosen to believe, to stay, to pray. That choice changes everything. Say this now with boldness. St. Anthony, I receive my miracle. I will live in peace. I trust your intercession. Say it again. Let it echo in your soul. And if you believe, write it in the comments. St. Anthony, I walk by faith because my miracle is already here. Final blessing. May this grace rest upon you. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, cover your heart and mind starting now. May your thoughts no longer be driven by fear, but by the certainty that St. Anthony walks with you. May every prayer you've lifted in faith bear fruit in due season. And that season begins today. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are under the divine gaze of a merciful Father. May your home become a place of healing, love, and supernatural peace. May your body respond to the touch of heaven with strength, restoration, and renewed vitality. Whatever has been sick, broken, or weak, be made whole now in Jesus' name. May the intercession of Saint Anthony bring immediate answers to what you once called impossible. May your heart beat again with dreams you thought had died. May joy return to your mornings and calm accompany your nights. May financial miracles unfold in unexpected ways through open doors, new provisions, and divine strategy. May the spirit of poverty be cast out and the spirit of abundance take its place. You were not created for lack, but for fruitfulness. May every seed of faith you've planted be multiplied back into your hands. You are chosen to prosper, not just for yourself, but to bless others. May you see family restoration where there was division. Let love speak louder than pride and unity silence every misunderstanding. May the hearts that have been distant begin to draw close again. May the spirit of reconciliation reign in your home. Let forgiveness flow like a river, washing away all resentment. May the Lord reward your perseverance with miracles that silence all doubt. Let your life become a testimony that lifts others into belief. May your enemies see you rise and know that your help came from above. You are not cursed, you are covered, you are not stuck, you are stepping into freedom. May your faith be strengthened in the quiet and in the storm. May you never forget the presence that surrounds you daily. Saint Anthony of Miracles walks ahead of you, beside you, and behind you. Everywhere you go, favor follows. Everywhere you speak, truth echoes. May your hands touch what once seemed untouchable. May your eyes see what others said could never happen. Let the miracle manifest in a way so clear that only God could receive the glory. Let the healing, the promotion, the answer arrive now. Let this prayer be sealed with certainty. You are stepping into a new season, one filled with grace and fresh opportunities. You are no longer bound by fear, shame, or past mistakes. You are free to believe again, free to try again, free to live fully again. May your heart overflow with gratitude, not just for what is coming, but for what has already begun. Celebrate now, even before the door opens, because your praise is the sound of victory. Your surrender is your strength, and your faith is unstoppable. Let nothing shake you, not doubt, not delay, not despair. You are rooted in truth, anchored in faith, surrounded by divine favor. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, you have touched heaven, and heaven has responded. Go in peace, beloved. May the blessings released through this very powerful prayer to St. Anthony pour over every detail of your life. May the cracks in your relationships be filled with understanding, patience, and mercy. May the home that once echoed with silence be filled again with laughter, unity, and divine peace. No heart is too hardened. No bond is too broken. Family restoration is already in motion. The miracle you feared would never come. May it arrive in beauty and abundance. May your finances align with heaven's provision. Let open doors, new ideas, and unexpected favor bring breakthrough in your financial emergency. Where there was lack, let there now be more than enough. Where there was anxiety, let confidence and clarity take its place. This is not the end. It is the unfolding of your financial advancement. May your faith rise to new heights, where fear no longer holds you hostage. Let your steps be ordered by grace, and your nights filled with dreams of promise. May the intercession of Saint Anthony of Miracles become a constant covering over your life. Let every doubt fade as certainty takes root. You are no longer walking toward a miracle, you are walking in one. May your hands be instruments of love and healing to others. As you receive grace, may you also give it freely. Let your words uplift, your presence bring calm, and your faith be contagious. The blessing over you is not just for you, it is for generations to come. Your legacy will be one of miracles, mercy, and unwavering hope. And finally, May the Holy Spirit seal this moment into your memory, so that when storms rise again, you will remember God met you here, and through the loving intercession of St. Anthony, you were never alone. Carry this peace with you now, and never doubt again. Impossible requests are heaven's specialty. What if today was the turning point you've been praying for? What if this was the moment where heaven whispered, "Enough delay, now is the time"? Can you feel it? That shift inside your heart, that glimpse of peace. It's not imagined, it's real. The miracle is already unfolding. So I ask you, will you keep believing even when others doubt? Will you live as if what you prayed for is already on the way? Are you ready to tell your story when the breakthrough comes? Because you will have one, and it will glorify God through St. Anthony's mercy. If this prayer touched you, let your gratitude become action. Write Amém in the comments so we may join in your petition and agreement. Declare your miracle publicly, because faith that is spoken becomes stronger. Someone needs to read your words and believe again, and someone else's blessing may begin through your testimony. Click the like button if this prayer found you in the right moment. Every like helps this message reach more hearts. It tells YouTube that this content matters, and it brings hope where it's needed most. Engagement isn't vanity, it's ministry. Be a part of that. Share this prayer with at least one person who is going through a storm. It may be your family member, your friend, or someone you've lost touch with. Forward this video and say, "I thought of you." Let the intercession of St. Anthony touch them too. Your one act of kindness can create ripples of miracles. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. You won't want to miss the next prayers that could change your life. We are building a spiritual family here, and you belong. Together we believe, we pray, and we receive, because with God and with St. Anthony, nothing is impossible.